2 Corinthians chapter 1. This is from Paul, an envoy dispatched by the Anointed One Jesus, because it was what Almighty wanted, and from our brother Timothy, to Almighty's group of called ones that is in Corinth, in Achaia or southern Greece, together with all the pure ones who are all over Achaia or southern Greece. May favor and peace be yours from Almighty our Father and the Master Jesus, the Anointed One. May the Almighty and Father of our Master Jesus, the Anointed One, be blessed, our sympathetic Father, and the Almighty of every encouragement, who is continually encouraging me in all of my oppressions, so that I might be able to be continually encouraging those in every kind of oppression, by means of the encouragement with which I myself am continually being encouraged by Almighty. For just as the Anointed One's sufferings are continually abundant in me, in the same way, too, my encouragement for others is continually abundant by means of the Anointed One. Now when I am being oppressed, it is for your encouragement and salvation from destruction. When I am being encouraged, it is for your encouragement. And this encouragement is continually operating so that you can endure the same sufferings that I also am suffering. Also, my hope for you is confirmed, since I am aware that you are sharing in my sufferings. In the same way, too, you shall be sharing in my encouragement. Yes, I don't want you to be ignorant, brothers and sisters, about the oppression of me that occurred in the province of Asia or West Turkey, how I was immensely burdened beyond my ability, so that I was even in dire despair of life itself. Yes, I had the verdict of death inside myself, so that I shouldn't be having confidence in myself, but in Almighty, who is going to wake up the dead. He rescued me from a death of such proportions, and he will rescue me again. He is the one on whom I have come to put my hope that he will also continue to rescue me, since you also are continually assisting me by petitioning or praying for me, so that many faces might give thanks to Almighty on my behalf for Almighty's favor to me in answer to many petitions or prayers. For my boast is this, to which my conscience testifies, that before the world, yet more abundantly before you, I have behaved myself in purity and sincerity before Almighty, not depending on the wisdom of the flesh, but on Almighty's favor. For I am writing nothing else to you than what you are reading and recognizing that I mean, and I am hoping that you will recognize completely what I mean. Yes, just as you also have recognized partially what I mean, since I'm going to be your boast, just like you are also going to be mine, on the day of our Master Jesus, the day of the last age. Now it was because of this confidence that I was intending at first to come to you, so that you might have a double favor, that is, to go from you on into Macedonia or North Greece, and then to come again from Macedonia, North Greece, to you, and by you to be helped on my way to Judea. So then, since I was intending to do this, I therefore didn't use lightness in planning this, did I? Or the things that I am planning, do you think that I am planning them according to the flesh, so that my yes, yes might mean no, no? Now Almighty is trustworthy, for my word to you isn't a yes that might mean no. For the Son of Almighty, the Anointed One, Jesus, who was proclaimed among you by us, by Silas, Timothy, and me, didn't become a yes that might mean no. Rather, with him it has always meant yes, for whatever promises there were from Almighty With him, Jesus, they have always meant yes. For this reason also, the "let it be true," or "so be it," that is said by us through him, is for the esteem of Almighty. Now it is Almighty who is confirming us together with you by uniting us to the Anointed One, and who has anointed us, and who has put his seal on us. Now it is Almighty who is confirming us together with you by uniting us to the Anointed One, and who has anointed us, and who has put his seal on us, and who has given us the down payment of his Spirit in our hearts. Now I am appealing to Almighty as a witness against my sentient being, if I am speaking falsely, that to spare you pain I didn't come again to Corinth. Not that we were trying to be like masters over your faith, but we are co-workers with you for your joy, for you are already standing firm in your faith. 2 Corinthians chapter 2. Now I have decided this for myself, that I wouldn't come to you in sorrow again. For if I make you sorrowful, who then is going to make me glad, except the person whom I made sorrowful? Now I write to you what I did, so that when I did come, I might not have sorrow from those who ought to make me rejoice. For I had confidence in all of you, that my joy would be the joy of all of you. For it was out of much oppression and pressure of heart, and through many tears that I wrote to you, not to make you sorrowful, but that you might know the love which I have so abundantly for you. Now whoever has caused sorrow hasn't made me sorrowful, but has done so in part, not to be too much of a burden to all of you. The rebuke that the majority gave was enough for such a person, so that on the contrary, you should rather deal favorably with him and encourage him, so that somehow such a person might not be swallowed up by more abundant sorrow. For this reason I am encouraging you to endorse him with your love. For this is why I wrote also, to know if you would meet my approval, to see if you would be obedient in everything. Now when you deal favorably with someone in regard to anything he did, so do I. For in what I also have dealt favorably, if I have dealt favorably in anything, it was because of you before the Anointed One's face, so that we might not be taken advantage of by Satan, or the adversary. For we are not ignorant of the things that he has on his mind. Now when I come to Troas, a free city on the coast of Mysia, northwest Turkey, to spread the good message about the Anointed One, although a door has been opened for me by the Master, my spirit had no relaxation, because I didn't find my brother Titus there. So I said goodbye to them and went ahead into Macedonia, North Greece. Now may Almighty be thanked, who is always leading me in his triumphant procession through union with the Anointed One, as a trophy of his triumph, and who is through me making the aroma of knowledge about him apparent everywhere. For I am the Anointed One's fragrance to Almighty. Leviticus 2, verse 2, and Ezekiel 20, verse 41. Among those who are going to be saved from destruction, and among those who are going to be destroyed in the destruction. On the one hand, to the latter people a deadly aroma that is going to result in death, in the fiery destruction of the second death. Note, the second death is destruction in the lake of fire. Revelation 20, verses 14 through 15, which is also referred to symbolically as Gehenna. Yet on the other hand, to the former people, a life-giving aroma that is going to result in life in the last age. Now who is fit enough for these things? I'm not like so many who are peddlers of Almighty's word. Rather, like a sincere person, like a person who is from Almighty, I am speaking in union with the Anointed One in Almighty's sight. 2 Corinthians chapter 3. Am I beginning to commend myself again? Or like some others, do I need letters of commendation to you or from you? You yourselves are my letter that has been permanently written in my heart, and that is known and read by all humans. For you are making it apparent that you are the Anointed One's letter that has been dispensed by me, and written not with ink, but with the living Almighty Spirit, not on tablets composed of stone, but on tablets composed of the hearts of flesh. Now such is the confidence that I have through the Anointed One towards Almighty, not that I am fit enough in myself to regard anything as coming from myself. No, my being fit enough comes from Almighty, who also made me fit enough to be a dispenser of the new contract, not of the written law, but of the Spirit. For the written law is killing, yet the Spirit is giving life. For if the dispensing of condemnation to destruction had esteem, then the dispensing of rightness and justness is with even much more abundant esteem. For even what had esteem, in this particular case, doesn't have esteem any more, on account of the esteem that is immensely greater. For if what was vanishing had esteem, then what is staying is with even much more esteem. So then, since I have such a hope that this has even more esteem, I am continually using much boldness, and am not like Moses, who placing a covering over his face, so that the sons of Israel might not look intently at the completion of what was vanishing, but their minds were calloused. For up to this very day, at the reading of the old contract, the same covering is staying, not being uncovered, because it is through our union with the Anointed One that it is vanishing. But up to today, whenever Moses is being read, a covering is lying over their hearts. Yet whenever someone's heart turns around to face the Master, the covering is taken away. Exodus 34, verse 34. Now the Master means the Spirit, and where the Master's Spirit is, there is freedom. Now since we all can already see in a mirror with uncovered faces the Master's esteem on our faces, we are being transformed into His own image, from one esteem, His, and resulting in another esteem, ours, since it comes from the Master, the Spirit. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. For this reason, since I have this responsibility of dispensing the Spirit through the good message, because I was shown mercy, I am never discouraged, but I have renounced shameful, hidden activities. I am never walking in craftiness. I am never adulterating Almighty's word. Rather, by making the truth apparent, I am trying to commend myself to every human's conscience in Almighty's sight. Now if the meaning of the good message that I bring has been covered up at all, it has only been covered in the case of those who are going to be destroyed in the fiery destruction. In their case, the mighty one of this age, Satan, has blinded the minds of the unbelievers, so that the light of the good message about the esteem of the Anointed One, who is the image of Almighty, doesn't radiate to them. For I am not proclaiming myself, but the Anointed One Jesus as the Master, and myself as your slave because of Jesus, because Almighty who said, Light must shine out of the darkness. Genesis 1 verse 3. Is the one who has made it shine in my heart to lead to my putting light for others on the knowledge about Almighty's esteem, which is on the Anointed One's face. Now I have this treasure in an earthen container, so that its immense power might be seen to come from Almighty and not from me. I am continually being oppressed in all kinds of ways, but never distressed, continually perplexed, but never despairing, continually being persecuted, but never forsaken, continually being thrown down, but never being destroyed, always carrying around the dying of Jesus in my body, and so that the life of Jesus might also be made apparent in my body. For although I am alive, I am constantly being delivered over to death because of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus also might be made apparent in my dying flesh. Therefore, it is death that is continually operating in me, yet it is life that is continually operating in you. Now it has been written, I believed, for this reason I spoke. Musical Composition 116 verse 10. Since I have the same spirit of faith as this person, I too am believing. For this reason I too am speaking. Because I am aware that the one who has awakened the Master Jesus will also wake up me to be together with Jesus, and will have me stand together with you. For everything is because of you, so that after the favor has increased through more and more people, it might result in abundant giving of thanks to Almighty's esteem. For this reason I am not discouraged, even though my outward human body is continually decaying. Nevertheless, my inner self is continually being renewed day by day. For the light burden of my momentary oppression is going to produce for me an immense burden of esteem in the last age, since I'm not keeping a careful eye out on the things that are being observed, but on the things that aren't being observed. For the things that are being observed are temporary, yet the things that aren't being observed belong to the last age. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. For I am aware that if my earthly tent, home, my temporary home, my present body, is demolished, I'm going to have a building, a new body, that comes from Almighty, a home in the last age among the heavens that hasn't been made by hands. For in this one, my present body, I am continually groaning, since I am continually desiring to put on, like clothes, my home that comes from heaven. And provided that I have put on these clothes, my new body, I won't be found naked, without a body. Yes, while I am still in this tent, my present temporary body, I am continually groaning, since I am being burdened, because I don't want to be stripped of my present body, but I want to put on the clothes, my new body, so that what is subject to dying might be swallowed up by life in the last age. Now the one who has produced us for this same purpose is Almighty, who has given us the Spirit as a down payment. So then, I am always having courage, and aware that while I am at home in this body, I am away from my home with the Master. For I am continually walking by means of faith, not by means of awareness. Yet I have courage, and would be delightful to rather be away from home out of this body, and be at home with the Master. For this reason also, whether I am at home or away from home, I am ambitious to be very pleasing to Him. For all of us have to appear in front of the judgment platform of the Anointed One, so that each person might retrieve what is coming to him for the things practiced while in the body, whether good or foul. So then, since I am aware of what deep respect for the Master means, I am continually trying to persuade humans. Now what I am is always apparent to Almighty, and I hope that it is apparent to your consciences also. I'm not trying to commend myself to you again, but I am trying to give you an occasion to boast about me, so that you might have something for those who are continually boasting about the surface appearance and not about the heart. For if I were deranged or crazy, it was for Almighty. If I am sensible, it is for you. For the Anointed One's love is continually pressing in on me, after I had judged that one died for all who are going to be saved. Therefore all who are going to be saved have died, and he died for all, so that those who are living might be by no means still be living for themselves, but for the one who died for them, and has been awakened. Therefore, from now on, I am not going to be aware of anyone according to what he seems in the flesh, even though I once knew the Anointed One according to what he seemed in the flesh, just a man. Nevertheless, now I no longer know him as such. Therefore, whoever is in union with the Anointed One is a new creation. Ephesians 2, verses 14 through 15, and Romans 6, verses 3 through 6. The beginning life has passed away, and notice, a new one has come into being. Now all these things come from Almighty, who has reconciled me to himself by means of the Anointed One, and has given me this responsibility of dispensing reconciliation. Now all these things come from Almighty, who has reconciled me to himself by means of the Anointed One, and has given me this responsibility of dispensing reconciliation. That is, that through the Anointed One, Almighty was reconciling the world to himself, not regarding their offenses against them. And he has placed in me the word for causing this reconciliation. So then, I am a delegate for the Anointed One. It is as though Almighty is continually encouraging people through me. I am continually petitioning on behalf of the Anointed One. You must be reconciled to Almighty. He made the one who knew nothing of wrongdoing to be an offering for wrongdoing on our behalf, so that through union with him we might become right and just before Almighty.